Hey everyone, it's Keela here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's soap making video. Now, a little over a year ago, I came up with this absolutely crazy, insane idea, which I now see, to do the zodiac constellations in a soap series. So releasing one every month just as the sun crosses over into that particular star sign. I didn't realize how challenging this was going to be when I first started it, and I have learned a lot along the way. Now, I've always had questions or comments about not knowing how I know where to place the stars and things like that. So I thought, being that this is the final one I'm going to do, because I am never going to do these constellations again, I would start the video off not only showing you some of the colors as usual that I'm going to use, but also show some of the tips and tricks that people use when they are building up sceneries within their soaps. So let's go and check out how I made Pisces. Let's go. So when I first started doing this series, these were the molds I was using for all of my soaps. And then partway through the series, I did upgrade to the Nurture soap ones with the solid green liners. But I found that to do these constellation soaps, I did still need to use these original molds that I had. And the reason being is because the liner is clear. So what I do when I do any of my constellation soaps, I get onto Canva and I get myself a constellation pattern, and then I put it into the size that I want it, and then I color in the stars on that pattern so that they are solid black stars, and then I print them out and cut them down to size. So this is the size of a finished bar of soap. So I do it so that I end up with two pieces, and you need one that goes the right way and one that is reversed. Once you've got these pieces, they simply slot down into the end of the mold, and I'm putting it in between where the liner is and the wooden mold. So we'll get that one in as well, and push that one down and make sure that they sit on the bottom. And now what you can see, maybe you can actually see the outline of the stars. So I know exactly where I need to start placing the stars, how much soap I need to pour, and where to place those stars as I move up. So that was how I knew where to place my stars. Now, I very quickly learned that you do need a thick trace on these so that you can put your stars in and they don't move around. If your soap is too thin, when you pour your soap in here, the stars will actually move. So you need to get that right sort of consistency in there, and you really don't have time for doing fancy drop pours into your mold. So that's why I pour everything into my bucket. So we've got all of that one set up. So let's get the mold out of the way. Okay, so we've got our oil and our lime mix here as always. For the colours, because Pisces is a water sign and it's associated with green, I've mixed myself up a colour here using some Tutti Frutti, which is a My Micro Obsession colour, and I also added in a little bit of Hello Spring for Nurture soap. I've also got a pot with just that Hello Spring in it, and then into this one I have got some black oxide, and I just think those colours are going to really complement each other in a swirl. So let's pop them ones out of the way. And the fragrance I have got today, this is white musk and peach, or white peach and musk, sorry. And the reason I chose this one is because the notes for Pisces is associated with the ylang ylang and peaches or berries, and this is the closest I had. I didn't want to use a ylang ylang because not everyone likes that, but this has that kind of smell, that unique smell that ylang ylang has, but is very strong in peaches. And I've always wanted to know how this one actually performs in soap, because I really like it. Now, the other thing I always do, as you see, I always have a smaller jug which I pour from out of my main bucket into here, and that is because whenever I try pouring out of this bucket into my mold, the force or the speed that it pours out of this bucket will move the stars. So I need to have a more controlled pour, which I use this smaller jug for. So there it is, that's how we do it. So let's get into actually making it. I am going to set the rest of this to some music. Okay, so we've got our stars. These are all made using some soap dough. I asked Lee from Wicked Lee Goods to make me some small stars in the extruder disc, and I also had some which I had from Off of Lisa at I Dream and Soap. And all I'm going to do is just very carefully place that on there, and now I'm just going to gently pour this soap in here so we don't move that one too much. If I see it moving, I just kind of bring my soap to the other side and start pushing it back over. But it really is a slow process. And I pour in enough soap until I get to where my next star needs to be placed. Alright, so we're just finishing off with a little bit of biodegradable glitter here, and I have two sort of mermaid greeny blue coloured ones. I don't know if that's going to come out. Yes, it will. So that's going to come out of there. Now I know how that peach and white musk actually behaves in soap. I'm really impressed. It was nice and fluid when I first started, but because these soaps take about 15 minutes to actually make, I know that I will be able to get a really nice design in a soap when I use that one in future, and it smells absolutely amazing. So we've got our biodegradable glitter on there. Let's grab our stars. So once again, I am using the Wicked Lee bits, or the Wicked bits, for my stars. Pour them out here, and I am just going to drop them on the top. That one's actually gone in sideways. Just going to drop them across the top, and then what I do once I've dropped a few on them, I just go over and just with my nail I'm just tapping them into the soap so that they don't come off, and I'm making sure not to touch that soap because I have to take my gloves off to do this. Otherwise it just gets too hard and I end up getting soap absolutely everywhere. So I find I'm much better off without the gloves on, but I do make sure not to touch that soap. Okay, so there it is. There is Pisces in the mold. I'm loving the colour it's gone. It smells absolutely amazing. I just need a couple more stars down here. The gaps are too big for my liking, but there it is. I'm going to leave this one sit overnight now, and we will be back very shortly, and we're going to take a look inside because I don't know if anyone noticed, I did have a spare star cane here, but I'm pretty sure I got them all in, but we'll find out soon. Alright, so Pisces is now out of the mold, and I love the colour that this has gone. Really, really pretty. I've also learned along the way that it was okay to actually knock down the soap mold. I never did it at the beginning because I was always afraid I would move the stars, but you have to knock it down because we're working so thick. I have to knock it down to get the nice smooth sides on the soap. So that was something I learned in maybe the last 4 or 5 soaps. This one is smelling absolutely amazing. I am so pleased with this fragrance oil. Let's get this one lined up on the cutter, and in she goes. And again, going to line it up so I only get the 16 bars, that each and every one of my bars end up with the constellation in it. So we are lined up. We've got some good size samples to go out with this one, and through we go. And then we'll find out why I had that one extra star left. Look, that little sprinkle has moved. Let's stick it back in. It's still soft enough. And here is the piece of cardboard which I've taken back out of my mold, and let's grab this one from out the middle here, pull it through. I'll make sure I've got it the right way. So that's the way that we are going to go. And I've missed one down here. That's where the star is missing. In fact, what on earth is going on? No, that's the wrong way. That's the right way. But I still have missed the star from down the bottom there. Oops. But that is still pretty good for the rest of it as well. So you can see those 3 up there. And we've got the sort of pattern coming down and across the bottom there. That little star has just been covered up. So it is a shame I missed the star on the last one, but it is sometimes difficult to see where those stars are actually meant to be placed. But I'm still really, really happy with how this has come up. Something I did learn about the constellations was that depending upon who is depicting it will depend which stars are actually shown in the constellation. Some only show the actual stars that are visible to the naked eye without telescopes, and some of them show what you would see with a low powered telescope, and then others actually show all of the stars that are in that constellation. And then you can actually really then see the complete patterns. But I'm really, really pleased with this one as being the final of them. I hope you have enjoyed coming along on this series that I did. I can tell you this is a series I will never be doing again. It really was a lot of work to get this one done, but I have thoroughly enjoyed doing them as well. So there is another one for you. So as I said, I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye.